Yeah.
Daniel,
So
you're more the Top Gear guy than I am, so please enlighten us.
yeah. Okay. So Jeremy Clarkson is he's one of the presenters, former presenter of Top Gear. And now he's got now on a show called The Grand Tour, which is basically like Top Gear, only with a different name. And he also has his farming show. It's just called Clarkson's Farm, where he's working on It's a working farm. He actually has a farm. Um, so what happened was last month around Christmas, Clarkson wrote an article about he wrote an article. It was in the Sun. He wrote an article about Harry Prince, Prince Harry or Duke Harry or whatever he is, and Meghan Markle. And I want to read the what he actually said, just so people get an idea of it. Uh, he said, "Quote: At night, I am unable to sleep as I lie there, grinding my teeth and dreaming of the day when she, Megan, is made to parade naked through the streets of every town in Britain, while crowds chant shame and throw lumps of excrement at her."
Wow.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who probably don't, some of you probably might recognize that there's a Game of Thrones reference.
Okay.
But the problem was it wasn't. He didn't say it was a Game of Thrones reference. So
Also,
now,
that's a pretty extreme thing to say about any real person.
yeah, yeah. Um, and here's the thing: Clarkson he's no stranger to controversy.
Mhm.
He has said and done things for the last 20 years that have just been like really over the top. Not quite to this degree, but I mean, I mean, there's an entire Wikipedia page devoted to the controversies of Top Gear, and he is responsible for most of them, or he participated in almost all of them.
I'm sure that his friends are like, man, now we're gonna have to go to Paramount Plus to drive
Yeah.
our cars.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the last time something like this happened with him was when they were at Top Gear, and he got into a physical altercation with a producer, and the BBC decided that they weren't going to renew his contract, and then that's how he ended up at Amazon. And the other two presenters, James Bay and Richard Hammond, both kind of said, "Well, we're a package deal. If he goes, we go." And so we kind of have a similar situation going on here. So um, Clarkson he has he did issue an apology a couple of days ago on his Instagram page. And he apparently did send an apology email to Harry and Meghan on Christmas. And of course, uh, probably and I think the reason, a big reason why he finally did all of that was because his own daughter kind of said, his own daughter denounced him and said, "Yeah, that's no."
Right. It's one of those
Yeah.
things where I have no use for Meghan Markle or Harry at this point.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
I don't either.
Every time I hear them say anything, I just cringe, roll my eyes, and I'm glad that the Revolutionary War happened,
Yeah.
even though he's officially given up his claim on the throne, as I recall.
Yeah. Yeah. He has. Yeah, he's given up his royal duties.
Sure. Right. Which, okay, as an American, I'm generally against monarchy in general.
Mhm.
But I feel like if a country has a monarchy, then you're dude. In his case, it gave him everything, and you decide to let this woman browbeat you and drag you away from your family instead of living up to your end of the ceremonial bargain.
Yeah. 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 It's a Yeah, that whole situation is just a mess. It's just a big mess, and
Whole
uh,
bunch of he said, she said bullshit.
Right. Yeah. Um, but yeah, but that aside, with Clarkson, so Amazon's cut ties with Clarkson, and so that what that means is they're only going to do so season two of his farm show is drops next month, and they're already working on a third season, and that's going to be it for that show. And they're apparently doing they have I think four more Top Gear or Top Gear, Grand Tour specials to film, and then that's it.
Mm,
Yeah. So he's basically I use the word canceled, but again it's kind of one of those things where like I mean yeah what he said is pretty inflammatory, and and yeah like, as much as I don't like Meghan Markle, that's not something I would say about her. uh,
no.
yeah. And
I was just writing up some documentation for a process at work today,
mm,
and what I said was, if anything you say in an email, don't say anything in a work email that you would not feel comfortable having read back to you at a lawyer at a defamation trial.
yeah. Yeah, that's those are words to live by. Um, and yeah, so Clarkson, he's done in Amazon, and of course I don't know what that means for the other two guys. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing they did when they left the BBC. We'll just have to wait and see. But and of course the other shoe left to be dropped for him is uh, hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire,
Mm,
because he's the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in the UK,
they
and
still make that show?
yeah, they still make that show. Yeah,
Oh,
and but it's looking very likely that he's going to lose that job too.
yeah. I don't know. My gut says that this time around, they aren't going to follow him because this feels like last time. Like that's like a physical altercation. Who knows who started that? This is, oof.
Yeah, yeah, and I know James May. I know his politics. He does not like the royal family at all. Um, but yeah, I think even he would say, yeah, you went a little too far there, Clarkson.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, and of course, like I said, he apologized, but of course, and what's interesting when he was writing the apology out, he said, anytime somebody gets caught in something like this, and they make an apology, it's never enough, and
yep,
you know, and in his case, it's true. So
yeah. To be fair, I don't think that. Yeah, I can't think of anybody who I think the world would be okay with you saying that about.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think this time he went too far.
Yep,
Uh,
I'm generally against cancel culture, but this is a time where I'll say, okay, you know what? I get it. There are bounds of decency.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure with Clarkson, I mean, best case he has more time to work on his farm.
Yep. Uh, good thing he diversified.
Yes.
Um, s- Speaking of people of Amazon cutting ties, though,